Come on, everybody. Let's go. Get ready for a summertime adventure from another Sommer-Time Story. This is the story of Spike the Rebel, written and told by award-winning author Carl Sommer.
Debbie politely introduced herself to the boy next door when she moved into the neighborhood. "My name is Debbie. What's yours?" Spike, whose real name was Philip, stuck out his chest and growled, "I'm Spike the Rebel, the troublemaker." "Okay," whispered Debbie as she rode away on her bike. Spike was mean. All the kids were afraid of him, except Mary. She had an older brother who would protect her. After chasing a group of kids, Spike said to Mary, "I love to get kids into trouble." Mary pointed her finger in Spike's face and said, "You're mean." "The only one I care about is myself," Spike snapped back. "You better watch out," warned Mary. "One day you'll get into big trouble acting like that." Spike rode away laughing and saying, "Not me. I can always take care of myself." What kind of person was Spike? Olivia?
He was very, very mean. He was a bully.
Yes, Spike was very, very mean. He didn't care about anyone else but what?
Himself!
Oh, it's me, me, me. If I'm happy, I don't care what happens to you. And not only that, he's happy when other kids are sad and miserable. And that makes a bully. They pick on other kids who are smaller and weaker. What a terrible way to act. But here's Mary, and what is Mary telling him? Emma?
You better watch out. One day when you're older, you'll get in trouble by the way you act.
And that's true, because you reap what you sow. You act mean and you live that life that you don't care about anybody else but yourself, me, 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 and you make other people sad. One day, you're going to reap from that attitude that you have. And we're going to find out what happens to Spike in this storybook. Spike's parents loved him, but whenever they tried to teach him how to behave, he got mad. Spike always wanted to do things his way. He never made his bed or put his toys and clothes away. He refused to do any work around the house. His parents constantly had to correct him for his bad manners. Don't reach across the table. Say please if you want something. Eat with your fork, not with your fingers. Chew with your mouth closed. Cover your mouth when you cough. Say thank you when you receive a gift. When his parents tried to teach him, how did Spike react? Miguel?
Very mad.
Yeah, he's mad. He doesn't want to be taught. He doesn't want to listen to his parents. They teach him manners. Spike didn't listen to his parents, and he didn't make up his bed. And I'm going to ask you also, if I would go to your home tomorrow, what would I see in your room? Is your bed made up? Are toys all laying around? Do you keep it nice and clean like your mom tells you to do? And those are listening too. What about you? Is your bed made up? Do you put away your toys? Do you keep your room clean? Try to make your parents happy. Listen to them. Why should mom have to do that? Or dad have to help? Learn to listen when your parents teach you to have good manners and to eat right and how to eat and doing the things that are right. Spike never wanted to get his hair cut. He felt his long hair made him look tough and mean. When anyone asked him his name, he crossed his arms and growled, "I'm Spike the Rebel, the troublemaker." The only one Spike cared about was himself. When he rode the school bus, he loved to tease the girls in front of him. He poked them and pulled their hair. When younger kids passed by him, he often stuck out his foot to trip them. When they fell, he laughed, saying, "Don't be so clumsy. Don't you know how to walk?" Often the bus driver had to report him for his bad behavior. Spike was a tattletale. It was not that he wanted to help his teacher or class. He wanted to see other kids get into trouble. When classmates did something wrong, Spike would shoot up his hand and yell, "Teacher!" Then Spike would gleefully tell the teacher what had happened. What was Spike, Isaiah?
A tattletale.
Yes, Spike was a tattletale. But what was he interested in doing?
Trying to get the other kids in trouble.
Yes, he's trying to get the other kid in trouble. He wasn't interested in helping the teacher. Now, there's something really serious, and the teacher should know about it. You should say something. That's not a tattletale. But he's only interested in getting other kids into trouble. He's a bully. And that's his purpose here. One day during playtime, Spike stuck out his foot as a boy ran past him. The boy fell and hit his chin on the curb. Spike laughed and said, "Don't you know how to run?" When Mary saw what Spike had done, she looked him in the eye and asked, "Why are you so mean? I saw you trip him." "I didn't trip him," snapped Spike. "He doesn't know how to run." "Yes, you did," insisted Mary. "I warn you, one day all the mean things you've done will come back to haunt you." "That's what you think," sneered Spike. He stuck out his chest and boasted, "I'm not afraid of anything." Notice when Mary said, "I saw you trip him." What did Spike say? All right, Andrew?
He said, "I didn't do it."
Yes, I didn't do that. There's another word for that. He's a liar. Not only is he a bully, but he's a liar. And sometimes boys and girls lie too. Did you do that? No. Don't become known as a liar. Because once you're known as a liar, how can anyone know you're going to be telling the truth the next time? So learn to be a person who always speaks the truth. Now Spike, he's a bully, he's mean, he's also a liar. And they usually go hand in hand, that kind of an attitude. Summertime came and Spike's family packed their van to go camping. When it was time to unload the van and put up the tent, Spike disappeared into the woods. Spike hated to do any kind of work. After making sure the van was unloaded and the tent was up, Spike appeared with a few twigs for the fire. "Where have you been?" asked Dad. "I've been searching for firewood," he explained. "Spike," said Dad, "there's firewood everywhere. You didn't have to spend that much time searching." "Yes, I did," insisted Spike. "It was hard finding wood where I looked." What else do we find about Spike? Jocelyn?
He's really lazy.
Yeah, he's lazy. He was supposed to help unload the van and put up the tent, do all those kind of things. But he goes out into the woods and pokes around in there and picks up a few twigs. And then the dad asks him, "Where you been?" "Oh, I've been searching for firewood. There's plenty of firewood. Shouldn't take you that long." But he's a liar. And he's lazy. He's a bully. He's mean. Let's see what happens to Spike now. When Spike saw a boy at a nearby campsite with a BB gun, he became excited. He walked over and asked, "Can I shoot the BB gun?" "Sure," said Billy. "Can we shoot the BB gun right now?" asked Spike. "Let's go." Off they went into the woods. Billy took an empty can and placed it on the rock. "Let's see who can hit the can the most," said Billy. Billy handed the BB gun to Spike so he could go first. They shot the BB gun a few times. Then Spike saw a bird in the tree. He quickly turned around and shot at the bird, but he missed. "Don't shoot at birds," yelled Billy. "What are you complaining about?" asked Spike. "I didn't hit the bird." Don't be like Spike and shoot at all kinds of birds. Now, there's birds that you eat, like a wild turkey, there's wild ducks. Those are okay. But just to shoot and wound animals is mean. Also with dogs and cats, don't be mean with animals like that. Learn to be kind to animals. The next day, Spike took a walk through the woods. When he saw a canoe, he looked to see if anyone was around. "Good," he exclaimed. "I'm taking this canoe for a ride." Spike pushed the canoe into the water and began paddling. After paddling a short distance, he saw an eagle fly into a nest. "Oh," he exclaimed, "I wish I had that BB gun. I could get myself an eagle feather." As Spike paddled down the river, he saw a cable with a sign warning him not to go any farther. "The river can't be that bad," thought Spike. "I'm strong. I certainly can paddle this little canoe back. I'll just go a short distance." Spike lifted the cable and coasted down the river. Then he saw another sign. "Stop! Dangerous waterfall." "I can also handle this," he boasted. Now there's a warning sign here telling Spike he shouldn't go any further. But what does Spike do? Miguel?
He disobeys the sign.
Yeah, he disobeys the sign. Don't do that. There are laws that need to be obeyed. Spike is very proud. "I don't care what that sign says. I'm going to do whatever I want to." You find cigarettes, there's warning signs on there that cigarette smoking is dangerous. And some boys and girls, they don't care. They're going to do it because their friends do it. They follow the crowd. They haven't learned to say that two-letter word. What is it?
No!
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to harm my body. And then they not only do with the smoking cigarettes, then they want to smoke marijuana. Then they're going to take something, they take pills. I mean, some of the stuff that kids do, some sniff glue, some take all kinds of pills, they don't even know what it is, and they're dangerous and harmful to your body. Then if they live that long, when they're 40 and 50 years of old, they're sick people. You see sometimes these people that are on drugs and on alcohol, they're on street corners, begging, trying to get some money from people or some food. And they were once boys and girls just like you, but they didn't listen to the warning signs. The river became narrower and the canoe went faster and faster. "This is fun," he yelled. Then Spike heard a strange sound. "That must be the waterfall," he said. "I'd better start paddling back." He turned the canoe around and began paddling back. He paddled back as hard as he could, but the canoe kept going towards the waterfall. Suddenly, he realized he was in deep trouble. He screamed as loud as he could, "Help! Help! I'm going over the waterfall!" With the noise of the waterfall, no one could hear him. "I can't do anything!" he screamed. He flung himself to the bottom of the canoe and put his hands over his head. Spike and the canoe went flying over the waterfall. The canoe smashed against the rocks, but Spike was thrown into the air and landed in deep water. As Spike sank deep into the water, he thought for sure he was going to drown. He struggled desperately for air. "I can't hold my breath much longer," he cried. Suddenly he popped up to the surface. "I'm alive!" he shouted. "I'm alive!" He quickly swam to shore. As he walked back to the campsite, he boasted, "Nothing can stop me. I went over the waterfall and nothing happened. I'm not afraid of anything." When he came to the campsite, his mother asked, "Where have you been? We've been looking everywhere for you. And why are you so wet?" "I was playing by the lake," lied Spike, "and I fell into the water." How does Spike feel now, Mercy?
Proud and unstoppable.
Yes, look at me. I went over a waterfall and I didn't get hurt. And he feels proud of his achievement. How foolish. You nearly lost your life, Spike. Don't you think? How much more do you have to suffer before something goes into your little thick skull? It says it does the opposite to him. He nearly could have been killed. And that's, you see, sometimes people do such foolish things, they're hurting themselves. Wake up, think. Don't do things that harm you. You know, and unfortunately, there's some boys and girls, they just don't listen to their dad, they don't listen to their mom, they don't listen to their grandparents, they don't listen to their teachers. They just are stubborn, bullheaded, and one day they will reap what they're sowing. But I've written this story so you won't be like Spike, so you will have a happy and a successful future. The next day, Spike saw Billy and his family leave to go on a long hike. He snuck into their tent and found Billy's BB gun in a duffel bag. "Now I can get myself an eagle feather," he said. Spike picked up the gun and walked to the eagle's nest and waited. "I see the eagle!" he exclaimed. When the eagle flew close, he carefully aimed his BB gun and pulled the trigger. Bang! The eagle gave a loud screech and fell into the lake. "Oh, good!" he exclaimed. "I got him!" When Spike saw 2 eagle feathers float towards him, he shouted, "Am I ever lucky? I even got 2 eagle feathers." The next day, a notice came from the park ranger stating that an eagle was shot with a BB gun. The report asked, "Does anyone know of someone with a BB gun?" When Spike heard that the park ranger was looking for a BB gun, he waited until no one was at Billy's campsite. He placed one of the eagle feathers with Billy's BB gun inside the duffel bag. Spike went to his dad and said, "The family at the next campsite has a BB gun." "We need to tell the park ranger," said Spike's dad. "I've seen Billy shoot at birds," lied Spike. "He probably shot that eagle." When the park ranger came to Billy's campsite, he said, "I heard you have a BB gun. May I see it?" "Sure," said Billy as he went to get the duffel bag. When the ranger looked inside the duffel bag, he noticed an eagle feather. "Where did you get this eagle feather?" "I don't know," said Billy. The ranger took out the feather and said, "This is a fresh eagle feather, and we have a dead eagle killed by a BB gun." "We weren't here yesterday," said Billy. "Besides, I never shoot at birds. Someone must have borrowed my BB gun." "Then you should take better care of your BB gun," replied the ranger. "I'm going to press charges against you because of the dead eagle." "We can prove we weren't here yesterday," said Billy's dad, "and I know my son always tells the truth." "I'm sorry," said the ranger, "but the evidence points that you did it." Was the park ranger wrong, what he was doing, Claire?
No.
No. All the evidence, it was his BB gun. He had an eagle feather in the sack there because Spike put it in there. No, the park ranger wasn't bad here. He's doing his job. Right? And I want you to understand also police officers. They're there to help you. They're not wicked people. It's a shame the way sometimes people are treating our police officers. They are our helpers. I never fear a police officer. You know, because they're my friends. They want to protect me. And just only when you're in trouble, then you don't want them around. If you do something bad, then they're your enemy. But if you're smart, don't do anything that's bad. And so learn to respect people in authority when they're out there doing their job. Unfortunately, in today's society, you see, we have riots and all these things. You see people throwing rocks at police officers. That's terrible. They're there to protect us. Yes, sometimes someone might be not doing his job right, but you don't blame everybody for it because one or two incidents. So learn to respect public officials and police officers, for they are there to help you and help me also and to protect us. When Spike came home from camping, he became even meaner. He thought by being tough and mean it would make him happy, but it did not. One of his tricks was to set traps on the park bike trails. One day he dug a hole and covered it with cardboard, dirt, and leaves. Then he hid behind a tree to see if someone would fall. Debbie happened to be riding down the bike trail. She hit the hole, tumbled over the handlebars, and hit her head hard on the ground. Spike came out from behind the tree laughing and saying, "Don't you know how to ride your bike, Debbie?" Debbie held her head and cried as Spike rode off laughing. Spike set many traps along the bike trail. One day as he was riding his bike, he said, "I'll ride down one more trail and then I'll go home." As he raced down the hill, he hit a rock that he had covered with leaves. As he went flying through the air, his leg hit a broken branch. When he hit the ground, he heard a bone snap in his leg. "Ow!" he screamed. When he looked at his leg, he cried, "My leg is broken and I can't get up." Then he yelled as loud as he could, "Help me! Somebody help me!" No one heard him. Spike became frightened. He kept screaming as loud as he could, but still no one heard him. He became weaker and weaker. Here we find Spike becoming meaner and meaner. He's building holes in the ground and covering them up and covering it with leaves. He wants to see children get hurt. He's very mean here, but all of a sudden, what do we see happening here? Olivia?
He got hurt by his own trap.
Yes. He's reaping what he sowed. And that's life. You act mean, you're a bully, you don't care about anybody else, watch out. And so now he's yelling, help me, I'm hurt. But no one's hearing him. Let's see what happens now to Spike. Debbie and Mary happened to be riding home on their bikes when they heard a faint sound coming from the woods. Help me! Somebody help me! Stop, said Mary. I think I hear someone. They stood and listened. Help me! Somebody help me! It's someone yelling for help, said Debbie. Mary frowned and sighed. I know who that is. That's Spike. I can always tell his mean voice. We've got to help him, insisted Debbie. Mary sneered and said, I wouldn't help that guy. He's a cruel big bully. Besides, you know how he laughed at you when you fell and got hurt. I know he's a cruel big bully, argued Debbie, but we've got to help him. He sounds like he's really hurt and in deep trouble. What kind of a person is Debbie? Emma?
She's a very kind person.
Yes, Debbie is very kind. She says, Spike is in deep trouble. He needs help. Mary says, oh, no, I'm not. Let him suffer. He's mean. But not Debbie. She's loving her enemy. Because Spike laughed when she fell, but she's not getting revenge. She realized Spike is in trouble. Let's see what happens now. Spike, weak from bleeding and the pain from his broken leg, began to think of all the mean things he did to others. Now that he was badly hurt, he desperately needed someone to help him. With tears flowing down his cheeks, he said with a choked voice, I'll never be mean again. I'm making everything right. Then Spike yelled as loud as he could, Please, somebody help me. This was the first time Spike said on his own the word, please. Now we see Spike laying here and realizing he was mean and how bad he was. And he's learning from the school of hard knocks. You hear that statement? But a wise person doesn't go to that school. You learn from other people's experiences. And that's why you should read history. And read biographies. You see what other people have gone through, and you learn lessons from their life. And that's what these storybooks are for, so you will learn from them. They say, I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be so foolish. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to love my enemies. I'm going to listen to my parents. I'm going to do that's right. I'm going to take care of my body. I'm going to listen to the warning signs. So you don't have to suffer by doing all these bad things. And oh, no, I learned. Spike finally is waking up and seeing how he was. Let's see what happens now. Meanwhile, Debbie raced home. She burst through the door and exclaimed, Mom, I hear someone in the park screaming for help. I think it's Spike. Debbie and her mother rushed to the park. Spike, his voice becoming weaker and weaker, continued to cry out, Please, somebody help me. I'm coming, shouted Debbie as she ran toward Spike. It's me, Debbie. Oh, no, groaned Spike. I've been so mean to her. When she sees me, she'll turn around and leave, just like I did to her. Spike cried out and begged, Please, Debbie, come and help me. When Debbie saw Spike, she ran to him and said, My mother is coming to help you. Thank you for coming, whispered Spike as tears flowed down his cheeks. I'm so sorry for being so mean to you. Please forgive me. I forgive you, said Debbie as she patted his head. When Debbie's mother came, she saw the deep gash on Spike's leg. She quickly took out her cell phone and called for help. Quickly, the paramedics came. They put Spike on a stretcher and rushed him to the hospital. As Spike lay on his bed, he heard the doctor say to his dad and mom, If it weren't for Debbie, Spike might have died. Spike shook all over when he heard what the doctor had said. When Spike asked for forgiveness, what did Debbie do? Hi, Juliet?
She forgave him.
Yes, she forgave him. And that's a sign of a great person. Learn to do that. Don't walk around and say, I'll never forgive that person. No, they've been so mean to me, never. If someone asks for forgiveness, learn to forgive. It's a good thing to do. Don't go around just, I don't care what they say, I'll never forgive them. Don't do that. Debbie is a kind person, and he apologizes, and Debbie says, yes, I forgive you. The next day, when Debbie and her mother came to visit him, Spike said, Thank you, Debbie, for saving my life. Never again will I be mean. I'm going to be just like you and help others. To show you that I've changed, please don't call me Spike anymore. Just call me Philip. When Philip came home out of the hospital, he immediately got a haircut. When his leg got better, he said to himself, I'm filling every trap I've ever made. And if I see any stones or branches on bike trails that are unsafe, even though I didn't put them there, I'll remove them also. He and Debbie began helping poor kids in the neighborhood. One day, Philip said to Debbie, I thought being tough and mean would make me happy. But I've discovered I'm much, much happier having friends and helping others. At the back of the book is a Spike or Philip test. Spike changed his name to Philip when he changed his ways. He learned to say, thank you, when he gets a gift. And I'd like you to say this. I always cover my mouth when I cough. I have table manners. I do my chores in my home. I listen to my teachers. I obey school rules. I am not a tattletale. I am not a bully. I am kind to others. I quickly say I'm sorry. When I do wrong, I respect the elderly. I always tell the truth. I always obey my dad and mom. Here are some other words Philip began to say. Excuse me, pardon me, you're welcome, and please. These are some compliments Philip gave to others. Very good, excellent, awesome, you're great, terrific, great job, and keep up the good work. You can also get the pledge at our website, advancepublishing.com, under free resources, under activity page. Sign your name to the pledge and make it your aim from today. I will always do my best to become like Philip.
And now, an award-winning song from Character Kids.
When you put people down, you think it lifts you up, but you are buying into a lie. The fear that you impose won't win you true respect. It only proves the weakness you hide. Don't be a bully, don't pick a fight. Just because you are tough doesn't mean you are right. Don't be a bully, it's not gonna pay. You'll be remembered tomorrow by what you do today. Don't be a bully. You want to prove your power over all your peers by using force to hurt and dismay. If you would treat each one like you wish they treat you, you could lead out in positive ways. Don't be a bully, don't pick a fight. Just because you are tough doesn't mean you are right. Don't be a bully, it's not gonna pay. You'll be remembered tomorrow by what you do today. Don't be a bully. You're going at it all wrong. You wanna treat people right. Someone who truly is strong can turn away from a fight. It takes more courage to talk